Scaring the shit out of me.
Hello?
Hey, Tom, it's me, Zach.
I'm sorry, who?
Zachary McQuaid. I was calling you, Daniel Clint Rich, remember?
Yeah, I know.
He died
I
today.
saw the video you guys did.
Yeah, he died.
Well, I happen to know that he's still alive, so
What?
yeah.
He fucking faked it?
Yeah.
Are you fucking serious? Why the fuck would he do that? Sorry for swearing.
Well, just like he lied about everything that he said in the video that
Motherfucker.
I just watched
Wow.
a while ago.
What the
He,
fuck?
he even tried to include me as having something to do with the murder.
What the fucking fuck? Wow. I was crying all fucking day. Like, you fucking know that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, he did.
He did what?
He did try to include you with the murder. He faked.
Yeah.
Tried to fake his death, eh? I was actually
Well,
fucking crying.
the whole story, Zach. The whole story is a fake, and Michelle even posted something that showed communication between him and her, where he told her the plan of what he was going to do,
Like,
and
fake his death too after?
make the whole thing up.
Is he actually dead or no?
Well, in this video that he did, he's nowhere near close to death, first of all.
Because I just talked to his wife and she was crying.
Well,
And now I'm getting Lisa
I
and
don't
Michelle
understand
messaging me saying
why were you working with him and letting him claim that I had something to do with Kurt Cobain's death?
I was just listening to whatever he would say. He said he specifically wanted me to title that video Deathbed Confession. And when I talked to his his girlfriend today, she kept saying to me, Deathbed Confession, Deathbed Confession. I kept wondering why he was saying that. Now in hindsight, it makes sense. Because he actually did die.
And it's not a deathbed confession because this was done a couple of weeks ago, and he's nowhere near dying. A deathbed confession that is admissible in court is when somebody, like, the last few hours before they die, and you can, they're real weak and they're talking real well, and that's a deathbed confession. He doesn't sound at all like he's even sick talking in this video.
Do you know?
And he's going on and on and on.
Do you know for sure if he's still alive?
Somebody told me they just talked to him a while ago.
Yeah, because I was the last person to speak with him before he died, and when I was talking with his girlfriend this morning on video chat, she was crying. And
when did you speak to him before he died?
It was about 1 a.m. I was speaking to him, and then he said, I'm gonna crash, and then
last night?
Yeah, I was the last person speaking with him. And she even told me that because I just was on video chat with her about like 9 this morning.
Well, you had to know that he was lying in the video because he wrote a message to Michelle telling her what he was going to do and that he was going to make all this stuff up.
Yeah, but there's people that think
and
that he was just trying to say that.
You up in the corner in the video, right?
People just think he was trying to say that to get away with it, to admit that he could admit it but not get in trouble.
Huh?
People think that he was being honest, but he was doing it in a way in which he wanted people to believe he was being fake so he wouldn't get in trouble.
How could he get in trouble if he's dying, Zach?
Well, do you think could he be faking his? No.
Can you answer my question?
Yeah.
How could he be concerned about getting in trouble if he's on his deathbed and about to die?
I don't know. I guess he's having conflicting thoughts about doing that.
Yeah, I think you're not being completely honest with me, Zach.
What? Ask me anything. I'll be honest with you.
Well, okay. I'm going to ask you. I'm not going to ask you. I'm going to tell you what I know, that you two put this plan together. You know, he called me also a week or two ago, something like that. And I was busy and I haven't called him back.
Yeah, he told me
But
about that.
he was telling me about you and him working on something that I might be interested in.
Yeah, he told me about that right after.
Yeah.
He called me after.
You're working too close with him not to know that he faked this whole thing, that everything that he said is a lie. Besides the fact he's talking about flying in a what do you call it, one of those airplanes that sprays, insecticide and stuff like that. His first I think he said it was his plane, then he says it was his cousin's plane. I haven't even actually finished listening to the whole thing. Somebody else, another friend of mine,
you should
heard the whole thing, and
he was sending me poetry like, "Oh, dirty fucking rock star grunge person like Kurt Cobain, fuck you," and all that. I'm gonna take everything from you. I'll show you those things.
what are you talking about?
He was sending me poems about Kurt Cobain, about being really mean to him, and it was shocking for me to get those from him, unless he was playing me too.
Yeah, well, he's I haven't even heard the whole. Apparently this is a longer video than what I thought, because I'm recording it right now.
Yeah.
And I can't hear what's being said because it's going directly from out of my computer back into my computer to record the audio.
Okay, are you?
But
on my YouTube channel?
I see that it's still on, and so it looks like it's well over half an hour long.
Yeah, it's 37 minutes, I believe. Is it on my YouTube channel, The Life of a Borderline?
Yeah, I'm recording it off of YouTube.
Yeah. I hope.
And
he had me.
I mean, I just heard the first few minutes of him talking, and I'm an ex-cop. You got to remember, I'm an ex-cop. You know what the main job of a cop is? Even if they're working patrol, just writing traffic tickets, much less being a detective or whatever. Everything to do with police work, I should say about 90% of everything to do with police work is figuring out if somebody is telling the truth or not. So it's real easy for me to listen to somebody talking and to tell whether they're telling the truth or not, because they cross themselves up. Like what you just did a while ago when you said he was probably afraid he might get in trouble. Well, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever if he's really dying, and especially if he's dead now. Why would he care about getting in trouble? That's what a deathbed confession, that's why they're allowed in court, because the person who's saying it has nothing to lose. So they're most likely to be honest right before they die. That's why they're called deathbed confessions.
Right.
This, even if he was telling the truth in this would never be considered a deathbed confession.
Right.
But he's just rambling on and on and on. He wants to be involved in this. He wants to get his name out there. He has nothing to do with this.
He has so many connections, even to Geffen. His sister's connected with Geffen. The first person to promote his...
I don't...
The person
how do you know that, though? How do you know that? Because he said that? Because he told you?
Well, it can be proven. He sent all the screenshots of everything. The Sterols was his band. It was promoted by the same person that promoted Courtney Love's first album.
Yeah. Well, I've talked to him enough, and I've listened to enough of this, although I'm going to be listening to the whole thing when it's done recording. I already caught him crossing himself up. And did he claim that he flew Courtney Love up to Seattle in that plane?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's what he said.
See, that's crazy, because I know Courtney well enough to know she would never fly to Seattle from Los Angeles in a small airplane. she would hop on a private jet and fly up there and back. She took limousines everywhere she went. She didn't even drive a car.
Yeah, that's what.
And she had plenty of money to fly up to Seattle and back. She wouldn't fly in a little 2-seat airplane.
No, it was the private jet thing. He even said that Ryan didn't even know. He went into more detail about the plane and about his son not even knowing. And so that's why when Ryan went to Sarah Noonan, she said no, and
Well,
apparently he was hiding
now
it
I
from
don't
his family.
understand what you're talking about.
He was
What's
apparently
that got to
hiding
do
it
with
from
that
his family.
crop plane?
He was hiding all this from his family, is what he wanted me to believe, at least.
He's doing what about his family?
He was hiding all of that from his family, the Kurt Cobain thing. That's what he said to me.
Well, I'm talking about the airplane. We got to focus on one thing at a time. He's claiming that he flew Courtney up to Seattle in a crop duster airplane, right?
I forget exactly what it was. If you look at the YouTube video, you can look at the transcript, and it will show everything that's said in the video, and you can scroll.
Yeah, I'm not going to read through the whole transcript. I'm just going to watch and listen to him. He's still going on and on and on, and that just tells me that he's after attention. I mean, if somebody's on their deathbed, he's talking like a normal person, first of all, and he's just talking and talking and talking and talking without hardly even stopping.
He literally died today.
I don't necessarily believe that. We'll see.
And this wasn't supposed to come out. I found out that he died before, and then I felt like, okay, this is what Dan wanted. He wanted me to release this and to do something good with his life. And he wanted to bring to justice the killers that did what they did to
This
Kurt.
is lying about the circumstances doesn't do anything to help reopen the case. Even Michelle, as gullible as she is, she didn't even want anything to do with him and with his story. So, I mean, and he writes to her and he tells her that he's making this up. He says anything, I'll say this and I'll say that and I'll.
He was saying that
what?
He was saying to me he's going to make it up, but then at the same time he was saying that he is actually doing it, and then he was sending poetry to me about Kurt Cobain, like being a dirty little grunge rock star, and he's going to take everything from him and everything.
Well, I don't understand what poetry to you has to do with anything. He admitted before this was even posted, he admitted that it was fake. He admitted that what he was going to do and what he was going to say. And he told Michelle, I'm just doing this to help you reopen the case.
I don't think he knew he was going to die this quickly.
Well, then why would it be a deathbed confession then? He talked at the very beginning of this about how he's not going to last much longer. I was up last night for 3 hours coughing, and I have brain cancer, and I have lung cancer.
And he did have a brain tumor, and he was coughing all last night and the other night too. And now he's dead.
Well, now how do you know he has a brain tumor? Did you go to the doctor with him?
No, but he even showed me his stomach too. He had to get some stuff removed, and he had stitches in his stomach.
Well, I mean, I had a hip removed. I had stitches on my hip where I can show you a scar. I mean, people have operations, but you just got to not believe everything somebody says. Like I said, Zach, I don't have to convince you that he's lying because I've seen where he wrote that he was going to make this story up, and I'm not going to believe, and his story doesn't make any sense. First of all, I know that I wasn't involved in it, so him trying to drag me into it is just laughable. So right there, I know that he's lying too.
Yeah, but he was saying to me too that he's lying and going to fake it, and I was okay with that. But at the same time, there was people saying he's fooling you. He's actually telling you the truth, but he's telling you in a way in which he's not, in which it seems that he's not telling the truth and that he's faking it. And so that's
so it's not going to be any kind of evidence in court, no matter what. because we've got him writing to one person saying that he's going to make up this story, and then he makes up this story and he does it on YouTube. What good is it? You know, I mean, that would never, even if I believed everything that he said, which obviously I don't, because especially when he talks about me being involved in it. But other stuff I picked up on already right from the beginning, stuff that he said that I know to be not true. And the fact that, you know, Courtney loved flying up there in a crop duster airplane. Daniel Rich is not a very intelligent person. And when you talk to him again, you can tell him I said so.
He's dead. He died.
Well, I think you'll be
with his girlfriend. She's been crying.
No, I don't really care what anybody says. I think we'll see Daniel Rich again because I think he wants to get attention. And I don't believe he's dead. But in any case,
he did die. I can't believe I'm laughing about it, but he did.
Well, how do you know?
I've been crying.
How do you know?
I was told, and it was Lisa that told me that he was dead, and then I called, and it was his girlfriend that answered, and she was crying.
So how did Lisa find out that he died?
Through his son Ryan.
So Ryan called Lisa?
Yeah, or I guess somehow Lisa knew. I don't know how Lisa knew.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that makes sense now because somebody wrote on the WKK thing that Daniel Rich, a dear friend of ours, Daniel Rich has died, and that sounds like something Lisa would do. And then Michelle picked up, and she wrote other stuff about that, and then she wrote what Daniel Rich had written to her, straightening it out and telling Daniel that she wants nothing to do with it and that she has enough evidence to take to the DA as it is, so she doesn't need this phony story of his. I don't have any trust in Michelle's judgment either.
No,
she doesn't know what she's doing.
Yeah.
What?
Her and Lisa are working for Courtney. They're whole fans.
No, I don't believe that.
Radio since the 90s.
Yeah. I don't believe they're working for Courtney. I just believe they don't know what they're doing. That's all.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
You know, Michelle came on with this whole thing about, well, Tom hasn't gotten anything done in 30 years, so it's about time somebody else take over and do this thing. Right. And that's fine with me. I'm having a good laugh because she hasn't come up with anything yet.
Yeah, and she's throwing away people, and she's taking my work and Will's work, who also knows Joe, but then she's taking
Will just left the group
herself. You know,
You know that Will just left that group.
Yeah, he was kicked out by Michelle. She's kicking out anyone that actually cares about the case and wants to do good for it, and she is wanting to just be popular with these other girls and take it over and just have it be about them. They now called Who Killed Kurt the Overheard podcast. It's now not even about Kurt. So and I don't like that they put me on the credits of the mini documentary they did because they weren't supposed to release that video, Joe, anyway. And now if Joe gets hurt,
I saw that.
Yeah, and so if Joe gets hurt, people associated with what they did could get in trouble.
Well, Joe, I don't believe Joe either. I mean, I've caught him in several lies already, so I have nothing to do with those people.
Yeah.
Who?
Joe said he's going to call me tonight.
Well, he doesn't. I have nothing to do with him, and that's Michelle's thing.
I do believe he died, but can I tell you what he said?
What?
He said that on your case manual study, that the timelines are kind of mixed up, and that you did go before that, and you went to the house.
Well, that's why I know that he doesn't know what he's talking about, and he's just making stuff up off the top of his head. I was there. I made the notes, and then I translated those notes into the case study manual. Nobody can tell me that it's inaccurate, that my timeline is inaccurate. It's I've never changed anything that I wrote because I wrote it as it happened. I took notes. I'm an ex-cop. I know how to take notes and how to how to keep track of what I'm doing and everything. So when somebody comes along and they try to tell me that something that happened in my life that I either said or wrote about is wrong, well, good luck. I don't care if you believe me or not. I know what the dates were, and I know where I was, and I know what happened. So
Kurt didn't die on the 2nd of April, or he didn't die on the 5th either by you and Dylan and somebody else.
I had, I've all these stories about me being up there, the night that Kurt died and everything. That's just funny to me. I don't respond to this stuff because it's just ridiculous. I'm not going to.
I think Joe's more of a credible witness than Danny, though.
Well, yeah, I do too, but I don't think that doesn't mean I think Joe's a credible witness. How could Joe possibly be a credible witness when I know I wasn't there and he claims that he saw me there? He picked me up. He picked me out of a lineup even, and that would have been Saturday night. That would have been the second on Saturday night that he claims that this all happened and that he saw me there too.
Yeah, because he said he was there creeping around taking photos with another police officer.
Yeah, that's really dumb. What a dumb thing to say. Nobody would have been there walking around taking photos on the property. I mean, that would have been stupid for anybody to do. And Courtney certainly wouldn't have hired somebody to be on the driveway taking photographs.
It's weird that Courtney wanted to plant that false story in the newspaper that she overdosed on the same night of the 2nd, when Kurt left and was at the house at the 2nd, and then apparently that's when it happens. Apparently he was being sent from Los Angeles to Seattle.
I don't think he died on the 2nd, but that's beside the point. I mean, I don't want to.
But it still wasn't you and Dylan that shot him, right?
Of course not. And Dylan didn't shoot him either. Dylan had nothing to do with it. But people can believe what they want to believe. I'm going to have to run. Today's the anniversary of the day that my daughter got murdered, and so I'm dealing with a lot of family today and everything.
I've been following you since 2013. I remember you've been like, I wish you a good day. I didn't mean any stress with you, and if Danny is dead, and I believe he is, if not, I'm going to be happy, but just stay positive anyway. I'll find out if that's true or not, if he's dead or not. But I just saw his girlfriend, and she was crying. It seemed really real. Yeah. And Ryan's pissed that I posted that video.
Well, anyhow, I got to go, so it was good talking to you, Zach.
Okay.
Have a good day.
It's nighttime.
Okay.
Bye, Tom.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello.
Hey, Tom. It's me, Zach, again.
To a then record high
just a second, Zach.
12.9 million tons in 2007,
TV
falling to 299.1 million tons in 2009, leading to worries among many. But it's soon evened out.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Hey, I just seen your comment on somebody leaked my video. I put it on private, but two people uploaded it.
Well, I don't know what to say. I mean, it was obviously he was just making stuff up and lying through his teeth, but it's too late to.
We were doing that in hopes that it would bring the misinformation that was put on him on the people that started it, and hopefully that led back to Courtney.
Well, let me tell you why that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
It's really very simple ethics. There were kids killing themselves after Kurt died. I'm sure you're aware of that.
Yeah, I even attempted.
It bothered me that I had suspicions about what was going on. It bothered me not to speak out because I could have come forward, within a few weeks or something and say, I don't believe he committed suicide. But I wasn't to that point yet. I wasn't ready. I didn't know for sure. It took me until December, 7 months later, to slowly get over the hump to where now, okay, I uncovered something that convinced me positively that I know Kurt Cobain was murdered. So then I spoke out. So I was willing to even allow kids to commit suicide because I wasn't about to go out and lie about something to stop somebody from killing themselves. That's how you establish credibility. Okay. And if you're willing to go out and lie about something to get something to happen, then you've lost all your credibility. And now you're involved in something that, I'll probably never believe anything you tell me because you're willing. You and Daniel Rich are willing to lie in order to do something, and it's just not.
This is the people that I was working with thought that Danny was being honest about it, but saying it to me in a way in which he was lying about it, and that he wasn't actually my friend.
I don't know what that has to do with anything. Well, you just told me that you both. Well, yeah. Well, but you also just told me that you both worked on it together, and that you both believed that it would help, shake something up and reopen the case.
That's what I'm doing with Danny, but at the same time, I'm working with two other people. I can't say their name right yet, but they were the ones telling me that Danny is being honest with you, but he's trying to say it in a way in which it goes over my head.
When did you talk to Danny last?
I was the last person to speak to him alive, and he did die. I've been video chatting with Kat, his girlfriend, and I just we were looking over the True Psych Ward video of Kurt that night.
Okay. I want you to be honest with me now, Zach. Okay. And really dig deep, because I know. All right. So dig deep and tell me, when's the last time you talked to Danny?
I can look right on my messenger chat with him. I can even send a snapshot of it to you. Just a sec. That was the last message he sent me was Friday at 1:29 a.m. and he went to bed after and died. It says, "Hi Zach, it's Danny. I think I'm gonna crash. I eat dinner and I got big love from my friend Zach, and I'll talk to you later." And before that,
what do you mean?
Digestion.
He wrote that to you, and he said, "I have big love for my buddy Zach."
Yeah, and we did a video chat right before that. And before that, he was having major digestion system problems, and he wasn't taking his medicine like he was telling Kat and I that he was. And I'm not being honest with you. He had died. I think eventually there will be an obituary online.
Well, it shouldn't be online. It should be obituaries are supposed to be in local newspapers.
Yeah, it'll be online too, because now they do that these days. And so it'll be on an official.
Well, anyhow,
I mean, Kat's trying to get the money together right now to pay $3,000 to have him cremated.
Yeah.
But Ryan, his son, is now telling people he was in the CIA and everything. I think Ryan is just trying to mess with people. Sorry.
Well, that's the thing. Like, just like Courtney, her dad was Hank Harrison was a pathological liar. She's a pathological liar. Ryan is just following in his father's footsteps. You said that Ryan said that his dad was not dead at one point.
Yeah, I don't understand who he said that to or why he said that. I think he's just trying to get maybe more attention for his own career now, like that.
That's the problem. People think that getting attention and getting a million hits on the internet or something like that makes him famous, and it doesn't. And this is all a fleeting thing.
Right.
And
What's the person's name? Yeah, and they don't state.
we know it's not true because I have communications from Danny saying that he was going to do exactly what he did.
Yeah, he said that.
And
if anything, he's lying to me to make it more realistic to you, because I believe he is dead.
well, what I'm saying is that the deal about the confection, which, by the way, he never, people online aren't, the general public just is not very intelligent, and they hear somebody like this say something and they'll go, oh, wow, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Well,
Yeah.
when you make all the comments that he made, and talking about me and Courtney working together and all that, I mean, that's just so stupid. I know for a fact that it's not true, and he just made that up. And why would he do that? I mean, he's deliberately making me look bad, probably because I refuse to work with him and get involved with this thing that you guys are doing, or that you guys did. But he makes these statements. He says, I did this, I did that, and then they did this and they did that, and he'll just go on and on, but he never qualifies anything. He never says how he knows this or what he saw or anything. He just talks about, so then this person did this and that, and Dylan fixed the hot shot, and he and Callie gave it to Kurt, and he just tells a story, but he never says how he knew that. He didn't say in fact, he said he wasn't in the greenhouse. So how would he know all of that? And I mean, yeah, we can imagine ways if he was telling the truth, which we know he wasn't, because he even admitted before he did it, but he truth of the story. But what gets me is he's not even smart enough to do that right. When you tell people that somebody did this and somebody did that, at least say, yeah, I was in the greenhouse when it happened and I didn't realize what they were doing, but I saw Dylan do this, I saw Dylan do that, or whatever. At least say how certain people did certain things. He just says that they did it, but he doesn't say that he saw it or that somebody told him that he did it or anything like that. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I could sit here and tell you stories about celebrities or whatever and just talk about it as a fact without ever telling you why I know about that, or and why would I expect anybody to believe stuff like that? You have to qualify the things that you say.
Yeah, I'm going to speak for Kat now, his girlfriend. And we were just talking today, too, and she told me, she knew that we were doing that just to try to do something smart to help the case, but he's not actually guilty, and she even confirmed that with me again.
Well, you ought to post that online. You really ought to put something on there, on that YouTube video, saying that this was not a true story and that you just, found out about it or something.
We were trying to use the misinformation against him, against the people.
You can't do that. In fact, Zach, there's a possibility that you being involved in that could even be a criminal offense. Because you're lying about a crime. You're involved with him. You're associated with him. You guys did this thing together. You were talking to him and you were on the screen at the same time. And you're talking about a crime and you're implicating people. People could sue you. People could sue him. And he could be criminally charged, and so could you, for lying about a criminal offense and implicating other people in a criminal offense. You just can't do stuff like that. It's like lying on. it's like going to the police station and having them take a report about something, and then they find out later that you lied to them and that the stuff you told them in the report isn't true. They can arrest you for that. That's a chargeable crime.
Yeah, I was under the impression with him because I have other people in my ear telling me that he is guilty. They spoke with the other people, and that he's just.
But who is guilty?
Danny, and that he's trying to say it all to me in a way in which he can stay my friend and make me not believe it.
Yeah, well, I think you're trying to manipulate me now.
No.
I don't think you really believe that at all. You know for a fact that he made all that up, and that you guys talked about it and you put it together, and you thought that like he was claiming to a person that I sent me the direct information, the screenshot of the message that Daniel sent, that hey, I'm going to make up this story and on and on, and it'll probably get enough attention. It could help reopen the case, And the thing is, let's assume for a second that he really was involved and that he had something to add to this case as evidence, as verbal evidence of some kind. Let's assume that, okay, which I know for a fact is not true. I mean, all the stuff talking about flying Courtney, up there in his crop duster airplane and going back and forth and all that. But the main thing is, I mean, everything he said about me, I know for a fact is untrue. So there's no way anybody can tell me he wasn't lying, because he lied about me, and I know what happened and where I was and what I did. I know I don't work for Courtney. I know I've never tried to do this to help Courtney or anything. And he's sitting there saying, and I'm still involved. Tom's still involved with Courtney and helping her. I mean, that's just stupid stuff. And he doesn't use any way of qualifying that how does he get this information? How does he know that? Who did he talk to? Who told him that? Nothing. He just says it as if it's a fact. So the point is, everything that he said in that video is completely worthless, even if it happened to be true, because he didn't put it out there in a proper format, where it could ever be used as evidence. There's no, I mean, anybody can say anything, that's what it boils down to. He never said anything about how he knew anything that he said.
I talked with Joe last night, though. Joe said he could have been one of the people there. I'm going to talk with Joe more, though.
Oh, Joe's just as bad. I've got to let you go, Zach, because I don't want to be involved in this.
Is he like making that up, like LARPing, like?
I've told everybody from the beginning that I don't believe Joe. Joe's contradicted himself several times, and Joe would never make it to a witness stand. So Joe's, I don't want to get any farther into it. I just need to stay away from this whole thing. It's stupid.
Okay.
It was really a dumb, terrible thing to do. And it's just made a circus out of the whole Cobain investigation. And, I put 30 years of my life into this, not full time, obviously. I've worked hundreds of other cases during that time. But I've been on and off on the Cobain case for 30 years. And everything I've said, I've done it with integrity. I've never lied about anything. And if I had lied, it would be really easy for people to prove that I had lied about something. So I've been very careful to be completely accurate. And if I'm speculating, if I say I believe this happened or if I believe that happened, I'll make it clear that it's just something that I believe happened. Or I'll say, now this is speculation on my part. If you listen to any interviews I did on the radio or anything like that, where, it's just free fall talking, and people calling in, I always say, well, I can only speculate when it comes to that. And I can think of several different ways it could happen and blah, blah, blah. But if I say something like he kept saying, and that's a fact, Danny says, and that's a fact. I know that for a fact. Well, how do you know that for a fact? Just because you say that's a fact doesn't mean it's a fact. And again, I'm talking about something that I knew was everything that he said he was making up as he went anyhow, because he included me in it, and I know he's lying when he did that. So it's just so stupid. It was such a stupid thing to do, and I really think, I mean, I'm sure you're enjoying some of the attention that
No, the
video is getting, and you're involved in it. But I'm telling you, Zach, it's going to do you more harm than good. And when people find out that he was totally lying about all that, and they will find out slowly, you know, then you're just going to be sitting there with egg on your face, and everybody's going to know that you were involved in helping put this together. You just told me that, for one thing, and I knew it anyhow, but you just told me that during our conversation just a little while ago.
Yeah, but
so
I was under the impression at the same time that you might not believe me, but that he was telling me the truth, but in a way in which I didn't believe it.
No, I don't believe you when you tell me that, Zach. You're not dumb. You know, I know you have some emotional problems and stuff that you've had to deal with and everything. But one thing about you is you're not as stupid as you're trying to make me think you are. So, you know, that's a compliment on your part, but it's also, I'm telling you, don't manipulate me. You can't manipulate me, okay? You're too smart to believe what you just told me.
This is the thing. I believe I was confused during the whole recordings with Danny. I recorded like almost every conversation with him and I.
Well, and you notice that he went on and on and on and on, and finally you said, because the whole point of this is to talk about the night of Kurt's death, right? Yeah. And he'd talked for, I think, over 20 minutes before finally you jumped in and said, well, can we talk about the night Kurt died? Can you tell me more what happened there? You know, because that's what this should have been all about to begin with. But that's how stupid Daniel Rich is. Daniel Rich is stupid. You're not a stupid person, Zach. You're smarter than you're letting on. You come up with these silly little things. Well, I was led to believe in blah, blah, blah. No, you weren't. You're smarter than that. You know exactly what's going on. You know exactly what's happening. So, but Daniel Rich is a very low intelligent person. I don't say that to insult him or anybody else, but for him to think that he could actually get away with doing that and that it would work somehow and that it would do anything whatsoever, if the truth doesn't do anything after all of these years, then making up lies that are so easy to prove are wrong certainly isn't going to help anything. What it's going to do is destroy the Seattle authorities. It's going to destroy any interest that they might have possibly come up with at one time or another. When they have a bunch of clowns around making up stories and lies just to get attention, and it can be proven that they lied because we have their own, I have Danny's own communication talking about making up these stories. That doesn't help. You know, nobody's going to listen. The police aren't going to listen to me or anybody else because there's too many clowns around playing games. And believe me, as an ex-cop, I can tell you the police cannot stand it when people lie to them. That just totally turns them off, and they just walk away from it. They don't really care.
Right.
If somebody actually got them to a point where they were potentially interested in reopening this case or changing it to undetermined, when they see this thing that Daniel Rich just did, and I'm sure they're seeing it because I know of people that are telling them about it, you know, sending the link to the Seattle Police Department and everything. It's just, they're just going to walk away. They don't care. Why would they? Why should they care? And why would they want to get involved in an investigation when there's all these clowns making up lies and making up stories all around? And I include Joe Burns in that description of being a clown too.
It's just weird that
I don't have any respect. I don't have any respect, first of all, for a Nazi sympathizer, for a guy who wears a T-shirt saying Hitler was right. Hitler killed millions of Jews and other races too, but he killed millions of people.
Gypsy people. Yeah.
Now that, like a lot of people will say, well, that doesn't mean that he was lying about that. No, what it means is that no district attorney would ever put Joe Burns on a witness stand to testify. If it ever got to a court case, if it ever did, Joe Burns would not qualify as a witness, because if that came out while he's on the witness stand, and it would, because the defense would certainly bring that out, and you're dismissed, Mr. Burns.
Over to him liking Hitler?
Yeah. That's almost like saying, getting on the witness stand and saying, I think Charles Manson was a hero.
Right. Yeah.
Charles Manson had a bunch of people killed. Hitler had millions of people killed. And Joe Burns is a fan of Hitler's? Are you kidding me?
Right.
So that, I mean, if he's got that kind of a brain, that also goes to his credibility. Why would anybody believe anyone who is so stupid as to think that what Hitler did was okay?
I would see him as someone that's more of a violent criminal that could have part in something bad or seen something.
Could have, doesn't matter. He won't make it on a witness stand. They're not going to put a Nazi sympathizer on a witness stand. So Joe Burns, I mean, I don't believe him, but it doesn't matter whether he's telling the truth or not. It really doesn't matter, because goes before a jury. And before a trial is done or witnesses are called or whatever, they start assembling a witness list. Witness, and both sides do that. They analyze every single person on the jury and every person who's being called as a witness. And they're going to be ready. And if somebody called Joe to the witness stand, the opposition, the other side is going to say it. So I understand, Mr. Burns, that you have a T-shirt. First of all, you have a swastika tattoo, and you have a T-shirt that says Hitler was right. I believe Hitler was right. Well, yeah, I do. So what? And the attorney's probably going to say, Your Honor, I move that we dismiss this witness.
Yeah.
So Joe Burns is irrelevant to me, and I caught him in a lot of lies. He also at one point said that he saw me up there, and he may have changed his mind and said, well, maybe it was somebody else and I thought it was Tom Grant. It doesn't really matter. Well, I heard him say that he saw me up there. So again, when I know
that you were up there, that you were there.
Yeah. See, so I know I wasn't there. I mean, I was there after the 6th. I flew to Seattle on the 6th. That was the first time I'd ever even been to Seattle. So, when people say stuff about me that I know not to be true, that's like me saying, hey, I saw you, hey, Zach, I saw you at the Cactus, or at the Peninsula Hotel yesterday. What were you doing in Beverly Hills? And you'd say, I wasn't in Beverly Hills. I say, I saw you, Zach. Don't tell me you weren't there. And you would just laugh, because you know you weren't there, so no matter what anybody says,
Could you then be working for Courtney, doing something sneaky with her then?
Who?
Joe Burns.
I have no idea. I don't care. I really don't care. I need to get off the phone. This is just too much for me. This thing that you guys did was really, really stupid. It was really stupid. And it's too bad because you're not that stupid. You allowed a stupid person to get you involved in it. I can see where you might have agreed with Daniel that maybe this could, shake things up and get the police to do something. That's not what makes you I'm not saying you're stupid because you might have thought that. But when you say other stuff, when I try to explain something to you and you say things like, well, I was under the impression and whatever, that's where I can tell that, no, you're manipulating me now, because what you just said now, you're not that stupid. Daniel Rich is a very stupid man. He's got a low IQ. No matter what you think of him, I'm telling you, but you're not. You've probably got a fairly high IQ.
Well,
you may not know it.
I believe that he was making it up too, but I also at the same time thought he could be telling me the truth in a way in which he's trying to make it sound bogus.
Oh.
I don't know. That's my truth to you. And he did.
Yeah.
Did you read my documents with my court documents with Sarah?
No,
Silverman?
Yeah. After what you guys did now, I just have to leave that alone and not be involved, because I when people deliberately lie about stuff, then from that point on, you really don't know who's telling the truth about what.
Dan is dead, and when I found out he was dead, that's why I released the video. It wasn't the plan between me and Dan to release
Zach, how do you know he's dead?
I've been talking with Kat, his girlfriend, and Lisa was the first one to tell me he was dead. She spoke with Ryan.
So, Zach, here's what I'm getting at. You believe he's dead because his girlfriend told you or told Lisa or whatever. You believe he's dead because people told you he's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, don't you think that Daniel, if this is his girlfriend and his girlfriend really loved him or whatever, if Zach wanted to do this, you don't think that he would tell his girlfriend, okay, now tell people that I died, Yeah, because that would be part of that would release, you said that he said, put it on the internet when I die. So obviously he's going to have his girlfriend tell people that he died, and then you're going to put it on the internet.
So
if everything, if what you told me is true about that, that does make sense to me, but that would just be a way of him manipulating you to go ahead and put it up on the internet. Okay. And for right now, he'll just stay out of sight until his girlfriend calls people and tells them that he died. Okay. That even just gets more attention to it, Okay. So you don't know that he's dead. Just because people said he's dead, you don't know that he's dead.
Right. And he was saying that to me before, but I can't believe he would do that to me. Like, we didn't even plan it to release it the next day. It was just random.
Well, but you told me that he told you to release it after he died.
Yeah, so is that what he
wanted
what you
to
told manipulate me to do, probably? So if I'm being lied to, I'm being manipulated to do these things.
Well, he wanted it released onto YouTube, and so since he told you to release it after he died, then it stands to reason he's got to die in order to get that thing that he worked so hard on the internet to get attention.
Okay.
So
I hope he's not dead, but
well, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll wait.
Anyhow,
I'm waiting with
I gotta
another.
get going.
Okay. And quickly, I'm waiting for another guy. We're looking at New Boston obituaries to see if anything ever comes up.
Well, an obituary wouldn't convince me, because I'm not sure how easy it is to have an obituary done. I don't know that you have to.
Like people could just sign up and do it, maybe.
I mean, I can find out within a week or so. I have sources where I can find out.
That'd be great.
For sure, have official records and everything, but
I really don't know, so it would be great if you did find out.
I
don't want to say to his girlfriend.
He could remain in hiding for he might for maybe even a month or so just to let this thing go on. But eventually, he's
Right.
he's going to have to come out and probably apologize to everybody and say, "I'm sorry, I was just trying to help," and blah blah blah, because he craves attention, and so this can't be his last hurrah. What was the part 2 that you alluded to on the thing? Is there a part 2 for this?
Yeah, I have like 6 hours or 7 hours that hasn't been released. That's
Oh my goodness.
yeah. I haven't released it. I'm not yet. Anything.
Well,
It's on
I
unlisted
mean,
on my YouTube.
see, he likes to hear himself talk.
Mhm.
He just goes on and on and on, and he skips from one thing to another. He doesn't even finish a topic before he moves on to something else. So when he's talking about all this stuff, he can't even keep his thoughts together. And it reminds me of Courtney a lot. When Courtney's talking to me and when I know she's making stuff up, she just skips all over the place. That's a good sign of a pathological liar, because they're making, it's like when I used to tell stories to my kids when I was putting them to bed, Daddy, tell us a bedtime story. And they knew I was making a story up. And I said, well, these 2 little girls were out in the forest and they were walking along and they saw a bear, and I just kind of make it up as I went.
Mhm.
And that's all Daniel's doing. And it was obvious that he was doing that. And one indication of that is skipping from one thing to another, never backing up what you're saying with any documents or any proof or anything, never even saying. He would say stuff like, I know for a fact, but yet he would never say how he knew for a fact. What caused him to know for a fact? He didn't say, I saw this or I saw that. He doesn't even say, somebody told me this or somebody told me that. I mean, he may have once or twice, I don't remember, but if he did, it was only once or twice. But out of 100 items that he kept rambling on about, he never says, well, such and such told me, or I saw this, or I saw that. And his thoughts are all incomplete. Even the whole thing about his crop duster airplane. Do you know that crop duster airplanes fly really slow?
No.
I used to have a pilot's license, and I used to fly small planes. And a crop duster airplane is called a STOL aircraft. It's a short takeoff and landing aircraft, and they're designed to take off within just maybe 100 feet or so because of the way what their job is. They fly over fields and then they go up and they do a quick U-turn and they come back down again. Most airplanes aren't designed for that. If most small airplanes are just a Cessna 180 or whatever like that, if they tried something like that in most small airplanes, the plane would crash.
Mm-hmm.
But crop duster airplanes are designed for that type of flying, and they're also designed to fly really slow, relatively slow. I mean, most small airplanes will go a minimum of about 120 miles an hour. I'm talking about just a little single prop, 4-person Cessna 180, but a crop dusting airplane probably can easily fly at 50 to 60 miles an hour, easy, without stalling. Another airplane, that same size but a small plane, it would fall to the ground if the speed was that low.
Mm-hmm.
So flying to Seattle at 50 or 60 miles an hour, you're talking about a 5-hour trip. Mm-hmm. And Courtney never would do that. She wouldn't even fly usually on a commercial airplane. She would just she'd make a phone call, get a private jet lined up. You can rent them. Anybody can call if they have the money and rent a private jet to fly them up to Seattle and back. That's what Courtney would do. Yeah. She was spending money like crazy. Yeah. So the premise of everything that he says is just really stupid, really stupid. And he obviously doesn't know Courtney, doesn't know her habits. You know, anyhow, if you release any more of that, Zach, I'll probably put something up, and I'll probably bring your name into it, and it won't be a good thing for you. And in fact, you could get yourself in some legal problems.
Well, if anything, I could help you bring something out that says he was lying about it, thinking that he could do something good for the case.
Well, I would do that if I were you. I would.
I have us recorded talking about doing that, so I can send you privately that video.
Okay.
I'll do that, and you can quote it.
Do you know how to?
Yeah.
Do you know how to? Well, actually,
Yeah.
if you have it on your YouTube, you just send me a link.
Yeah.
You probably have it on a private thing, right?
Yeah, it's on unlisted, so I can still share you the URL link, but nobody can see it on my YouTube channel.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay, I'll send you that.
All right.
You can quote from him. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'll look at it first, and I decide what to do. But
There's multiple videos though, so it's multiple hours of videos.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just
okay.
It's long. Okay.
Okay.
I'll email you it.
Go ahead and send that to me, and I'll talk to you another time.
Okay, I'll email you all that stuff now. Take care and have a good night.
Okay. Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Tom. Bye.